Welcome to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show featuring a variety of subjects of local interest. This program was pre-recorded, so we're unable to take live calls on today's show. And now, let's talk about it.
Welcome to the Let's Talk About It show on AM 1470 KELA and 104.3 KMNT. I'm your host, Peter Abbarno, with another really special guest on the Let's Talk About It show. This is an annual interview with a young lady who goes through the trials and tribulations to be crowned Miss Lewis County. Now, this guest is she's really great. I actually had her dad on the show not too long ago, Katelynn Guenther. You know Chris, he's a I don't know, a Hall of Famer of Lewis County as a singer-songwriter. Plus, he teaches at WF West in the CTE program. His daughter was just crowned Miss Lewis County 2024, Katelynn Guenther. Katelynn, welcome to the Let's Talk About It show.
Hi there. How are you?
Good. I'm doing fine. So you were just crowned Miss Lewis County. How does it feel?
It feels awesome. I'm super excited.
Yeah. So what was the best part of the event this past week?
I definitely have to say the talent portion, just because I've been doing that my whole life and I loved performing.
Yeah. And so tell me a little bit about your talent.
Yeah, I played the fiddle and sang to I'll Fly Away, and that song is just one of my favorites. I've sang it for my whole life and I really enjoy it.
And for those who don't know, I was the MC of the event, or one of the MCs of the event with Jody Hickman Roberts, and I got to read the card that talked a little bit about the song, its meaning generally, but also to you. Talk a little bit about that song and why it was so important to you to sing.
Yeah, so I sang that song because of my belief in Christ, and also just because I love the song, of course. But I grew up on that type of music, and so getting to perform that song and relive the memories that I have lived throughout my life was just a super awesome experience.
Well, and you did it very well. Now, I don't know what the scoring was on that one, but I think generally you probably did well in every single category with the talent one. So aside from your talent, did you get a chance to see some of the other contestants and see what their talents were? Was there any that stood out to you? Yes,
absolutely. I got to see most all of the talents. I really enjoyed Amanda Brossard's tap dance. She is such a great tap dancer. And then also I thought that the public speakers, they did a really, really awesome job and were super impactful with all the things that they had to say. So I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool too. And in addition to talent, I mean, that's just one of the categories. Another category was the interview process. So how was that? I mean, it's got to be a little nerve-wracking to be interviewed by 4 judges who you didn't even know who they were?
Yeah, we had no clue who the judges were.
Yeah. And so how was that? Was it nerve-wracking?
Definitely nerve-wracking going into it, but being able to talk about yourself and all the aspects of your life was just a really great experience.
Were there any curveballs?
I don't think so. The hardest question they asked me was about a pizza topping and what I thought a pizza topping would best represent me.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that the most, and I didn't expect that.
What'd you say?
I said pepperoni.
Yeah, and why is pepperoni most reflect you on a pizza?
Because I believe that because I've been involved in so much throughout my life, I'm become very, very well-rounded. And so I said pepperoni because I'm well-rounded.
That's pretty funny. If you're just tuning into the Let's Talk About It show, my special guest today is Miss Lewis County 2024, Katelynn Guenther. Katelynn, so tell me, where do you go to school?
I go to school at Centralia College, and I'm currently a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, and what kind of courses are you taking? Or I guess, what career path are you taking?
I am hoping to be a K-8 elementary educator, and I'm currently taking a lot of elementary education classes.
Well, your dad is an educator.
Yes.
So is that kind of part of the career path, seeing what he does and saying, you like teaching?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, as your dad, it probably has had a huge impact on your life, right?
Yes. I have been with my dad my whole life. I mean, he has taught me everything I need to know about how to be a successful individual, and I always thought that teaching would be for me because I've seen the impact he's been able to make in the county.
So education is important, and you're taking a lot of elementary classes, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and my wife's a teacher, and she loves it. I mean, I think teaching is a awesome profession. Maybe not as cool as being a lawyer, but I mean, it's all right. What about your mom? Like, talk a little bit about your mom. What does she do, and her impact on kind of you being you? I mean, you're wearing a crown now.
Absolutely. My mom, she is a pilot car driver for oversized loads, and that has been a really cool experience watching her grow the business. And also, I feel like there's not a lot of women in that industry. I haven't seen that many. So
she's breaking like glass ceilings.
She absolutely is, yes.
That's pretty cool. And you're a close-knit family, right?
Yes.
Because we talked a little bit about this off air and how important your dad and your mom have been kind of in your development. I mean, you've had just glowing things. You actually said that your mom has no faults.
No. Yeah,
What'd you say?
I couldn't think of a thing that she does wrong.
Yeah. I mean, they've raised a great kid. I mean, you're doing amazing things. And your parents, obviously, you've got glowing things to say about them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, tell me about some of the other things, like what is your community service initiative? Because in addition to talent, you have to choose an initiative for community service. What was yours and why is it important?
My community service initiative is agriculture literacy, and my main goal is to educate the public on the importance of agriculture and all that it has to offer, all the things that it provides. And it's super, super important to me because I have been involved in the agriculture industry my whole entire life. I've got to raise animals for 11 years, and just seeing the ins and outs of the industry and all that it has to offer has been a really great experience.
And it's also pretty cool because what animal did you raise?
I raised pigs and sheep.
Pigs and sheep. Oh, so let's start with the pigs. How is it raising pigs?
Pigs are easy in a lot of ways, but also pretty difficult just because they're larger. So,
are they as smart as people say they are?
They are very smart.
Yeah. In what way? Could they do math homework?
Not math homework. Maybe they could. I don't know. But they are very intelligent in knowing their name, which is something that I've learned.
So if you call one by name, it'll know its name.
After a couple weeks, yes.
Okay. And so you raise them, do you raise them to slaughter then at the fair or? Yes,
I raise them to show and sell at the fair.
That's very cool.
Sale. Yeah.
Yeah, I just say slaughter because at the end of the day, it's going to be bacon, right?
True.
True. And tell me about sheep. So, I mean, you raise sheep too, huh?
Yes, my grandparents own a sheep farm, and that's actually where I grew up. But I raised sheep for a couple years as well, and they are definitely a lot different than pigs in a lot of ways.
They're not as smart.
I would say they're just as smart.
Okay.
Just very different.
So tell me about this phenomenon. Okay. My wife raised goats.
Okay.
Her best friend raised sheep. During fair, they were mortal enemies because sheep people and goat people seem to not get along.
That's true. I feel like there is definitely a disconnect between those two animals, and I'm not really sure why.
It's more than just a disconnect between two animals. It's a disconnect between those who raise sheep and raise goats.
But that also goes for people who raise pigs and beef kids too.
Oh, is there a little bit of a
stigma?
Is there a little bit of a battle?
Sometimes.
So do you guys break out into like gang fights, like dance fighting, or how does that work?
Sometimes.
Do you really?
I'm just kidding, but yeah.
So that's it's interesting. So, because she would explain that you never went into the sheep barn if you're a goat person and vice versa. So with beef and pigs, did you guys stay separate?
Well, we are separate in separate barns.
Right.
And also the goats and sheep have been together, so we kind of have to learn how to love each other.
You got to get along.
Absolutely.
Because I've seen but they're a little bit separated. Like one aisle is goat, one aisle is sheep,
yes.
Right?
Kind of, yeah. And sometimes you can get put right next to someone with a goat. And
is that like drawing the short straw?
No, I think just the goats really like to eat everything.
Yeah.
So that's the one struggle, but goats are super cute, so I don't have a problem with them.
All right. So there's no sharks and jets kind of battle after dark at the fair between like pig and beef kids?
None that I know of.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But we're holding out hope because that'd be kind of funny to see, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure, so talk about what you hope to accomplish out of your community service initiative, because clearly, and just knowing your family, I mean, you're very ag oriented.
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
country western singers, raising sheep and pigs. I mean, it's kind of a neat thing. There's a lot of, I think, students in both Chehalis, Centralia, and beyond who don't raise animals, don't have the means to do it or the property to do it. So what do you hope to introduce to especially those kids?
Yeah, so being involved in agriculture my whole life and being able to go to the fair and have an animal there for the public to see really made me understand that many people don't know where their food comes from. They don't understand the agriculture industry, and that's just, I believe, because of lack of education. I mean, there is a lot of people out there that don't have the resources to raise animals, and then also bringing light to 4-H and FFA, as well as many other organizations that don't just have the animal area of agriculture, but they provide a lot of contests and things that can provide you with skills that will better your life.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of responsibility in raising animals. And I mean, you could say the same thing about even just having a dog, right? It's thinking about someone other than yourself and making sure you feed them, water them, and take care of them.
Yeah, and knowing that that animal depends, their life depends on you is a huge aspect of it.
Right. It's kind of the circle of life.
Yes.
In a kind of a sad way sometimes.
Yes, sometimes.
Well, I mean, I remember when I was on city council, my daughter wanted chickens. Right. And so, we were able to work on the city code. A lot of people like that kind of urban farming a little bit. But even on a small scale like that, having them see where eggs really come from, having them actually feed them and take care of them has taught a lot of responsibility.
It's so true. And people are really in shock when they find out the truth. And I don't think that it's always a negative type of shock or a positive type of shock, but just knowing that they've been educated is kind of a wow factor. So
yeah, well, I mean, obviously we have Banties, like those little. I mean, you need like 4 of those eggs to equal a regular chicken egg. So it's it's more for show than really for nutrition, but it is fun and it's really a cool thing. So you're going to be at the fair a lot this summer. Are you excited?
I'm super excited to be on the other side of things because I've only gotten to be at the fair raising animals. So.
Right. So now you get to, well, I can't say it'll be enjoyable, but I mean, I've seen every Miss Lewis County for the last like 6-7 years. It's a lot of work, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And you have a little sister.
I do have a little sister.
Yeah.
And I will be around with Little Miss Friendly.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting.
That'll be fun. And then you'll be able to help navigate, the new Little Miss Friendly will be there.
Yes.
So that'll be kind of neat too. So one of the things I always ask every Miss Lewis County is there are 4 points to the crown.
Yes.
What are those 4 points and which is your favorite?
The 4 points of the crown are style, service, success, and scholarship. And the one that means the most to me is absolutely service. And throughout my agriculture literacy platform and my involvement in 4-H and FFA, I have been able to be involved in lots of community service, and seeing the impact that it makes in the smallest ways has just been an awesome, awesome thing to see. And so I hope to continue that throughout my year.
Yeah, and that'll be really cool to watch you continue to grow and expand this emphasis on the ag in the classroom. I know Bailey Peters, Bailey Moon now, who is actually the producer of the show, she that was one of hers. And I think it was widely successful. And I don't know if there's been another Miss Lewis County that's actually brought that back again. So having that kind of this many years later, kind of rejuvenation of this ag in the classroom is really cool. And I think a lot of kids are going to really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm super excited. And definitely Bailey has been a huge role model in the agriculture aspect of this pageant for me. So.
That's cool. Yeah, and I think she did a great job, and I have absolutely no doubt in my mind you're going to do an equally amazing job bringing attention to that issue. One of the new additions to the Miss Lewis County pageant was the addition of the teen program, which I'm going to have Miss Lewis County teen on the program as well. But how was that? I mean, having, there's 4, 5, 6 contestants. There was like 11 of you running around the stage.
Right.
That was kind of neat to see.
Yes, I'm super excited about the teen division, and just knowing that when I go to these events that I'm not alone and having someone there to kind of live through these experiences with me is just I don't know. I'm super excited about it.
You are listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. Stay tuned. Let's Talk About It Sunday edition will return in a moment.
Okay, and now back to business.
Listen on the air and online.
KELA.
Let's talk about it. Good morning. You're listening to Let's Talk About It Sunday, an extension of KELA's weekday local talk show. This program was pre-recorded, so no live phone calls on today's show.
And if you're just tuning in to Let's Talk About It here on AM 1470 KELA or 104.3 KMNT. My special guest today is Miss Lewis County 2024, Katelynn Guenther. And Katelynn and I kind of talked a little bit about some of the points of the crown, which are always fun. We've talked about just kind of her background in getting to the pageant. But what made you want to apply? Because, you know, there's always this shout out on this show and others where we say, hey, applications are open. Anybody want to be Miss Lewis County, apply. What kind of put you over that hump to apply?
I definitely have been thinking about it, honestly, since I was a young girl. It's always been in the back of my mind. But after I graduated high school and I kind of took off from FFA and 4-H and all that stuff, I realized that I truly wasn't done educating on the things that are passionate to me. And so getting this opportunity, I see it as an awesome way to educate and keep going in the things that I love.
Yeah. And it certainly gives you that platform to magnify your voice, right?
Yes.
I mean, because you can say it every day, but it just is something when you have the Miss Lewis County kind of platform to be able to talk about it, it gets you through the door and into the classrooms to make the biggest benefit.
Right.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, I really appreciate that. And I think a lot of folks in Lewis County are going to appreciate that as well. I'm also excited to see what kind of new songs you come up with. Maybe, do you write songs yourself like your dad does?
I've tried writing songs, and I'm definitely not as creative as him, but I haven't actually written a full song, but something I'm looking for.
Maybe you can collaborate.
Yeah.
Because you can buy his stuff on like Amazon Music, right?
Yeah, Amazon, Spotify.
It's pretty cool.
Platforms, yeah.
I heard you and your talent portion of it. I have no doubt that you have such a unique voice and the way you play the fiddle. It's cool. It's kind of it's country western, but it's folksy. It's kind of very neat. I like it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, but of course, you know, I have a terrible voice, so I wish I could speak like that or sing like that.
Bad.
Oh, believe me, it's terrible. Like I say, I mean, I can't play music, so I play harmonica. It's like music by numbers.
That's so cool.
It's
really cool.
Not that cool. Not as cool as what you did. I mean, you were really out there playing that fiddle. You were grooving. No, I love it. I the one thing about the Miss Lewis County pageant and pageants generally is that there's some folks still have this kind of misperception that it's all about the evening gowns. It's all about, just show. But, you learn these lifelong skills. I mean, you trained hard on the music and talent portion. I saw you in the conversation piece in the interviews. I mean, these are things that whether win or lose, every candidate walks away from this a better person generally for having participated.
That is so true. Yes.
And what are some of the things that you think that you really improved on over the last, month or two that you've been working on this?
I would have to say probably the onstage question, which was actually, I was so nervous for that portion of the contest, but I practiced and prepped so much that I got on stage and my brain kind of just talked for me. And I had those statistics in the back of my mind that I was so excited and eager to use. So I was really, really happy with the outcome of onstage question.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And the new fitness stage was kind of new to me too, because I emceed last year and I'm like, there's a fitness stage, but a lot of it is just to bring emphasis to health, right? I mean, that's part of it. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. That was kind of neat. I mean, because you get to talk about some of your actual activities outside of pageant, which you don't always get to talk about during like the evening gown phase.
Right. Yeah. I definitely was a little bit nervous for that too, just because I don't really open up to people about that type of thing, I guess. It's just not something you bring up in conversation. But it was a lot of fun, really upbeat music, and I got to talk about hunting and fishing and how those things mean so much to me. So yeah.
And so hunting, fishing, hiking, you're very outdoorsy.
Yes, I love the outdoors. I think it's a great way to just debrief and relax. And yeah.
Do you go with your dad and mom or?
No, I don't. I go with some other family.
Okay. So, so you just go out there. Do you hunt with bow? Do you hunt with rifle? How do you hunt?
I mostly rifle hunt, and I'm learning more and more to hunt with a bow, but I haven't actually went out and hunted with a bow.
Yeah.
But I rifle hunt for black-tailed deer.
Okay.
And I actually did shoot my first buck this year. So.
Nice. All right. And you fish too?
Yes, I do.
And so where do you like to go fishing?
Well, my most favorite type of fishing is definitely bass fishing in the summer. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like it's such a thrilling time. I don't know, bass fishing has always been my favorite. So,
well, and although not traditional agriculture, hunting and fishing kind of really ties into your overall initiative of, educating people on where their food comes from.
Right.
So it really ties in pretty well.
Right.
And I was really happy when we're doing the fitness phase of the Miss Lewis County pageant, and and I'm reading this, and it talks all about you being outdoors, you hunting and fishing, and I was like, this is cool because you normally don't see that in these types of pageants.
Right.
Yeah. It was super cool. So tell me a little bit about, they talk about a sisterhood, that when you go through this type of process, you grow really close together, and you almost create lifelong bonds of having gone through this. To talk a little bit about that process and what people could maybe expect if they ever next year or later this year applied to be Miss Lewis County 2025.
Yeah, I definitely went in the first day and was not expecting to really get close with anyone, because I don't really get close with people unless I spend an extended amount of time with them. But at the end of it all, we all bonded in so many ways. Even if we were super different people, super different personalities, we were able to come together, support each other throughout the whole process, because we weren't all comfortable, and that was just a normal thing.
Yeah.
It was just an experience for us all that really brought us together.
Yeah, and there were, after any one of these types of contests, I mean, there's a lot of tears. There's tears of joy, tears of disappointment, tears of thank God it's over, because it took a lot out of you. I mean, that's got to have mixed feelings with you, because you're crying because you're happy you won. You're also crying probably because you're happy, like, it's just a lot of pressure to live with. Yeah. Have you talked to some of the contestants afterwards, just kind of congratulations and decompress?
Yes, I have talked to a couple of the contestants and teens afterwards, and got to just tell them how proud I was, no matter what the outcome was. I think that we all can agree everyone was proud of everyone.
Yeah.
And just that we all went out of our comfort zones.
Yeah, and Capri O'Neill is going to be the Miss Teen.
Yes, she is.
And she's the sister of my O'Neill, who's Miss Lewis County 2023, which I thought that was kind of interesting too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
Cool crowning moment.
Yeah,
sure.
Of course, then it's 2 years for the parents to be involved.
Right.
That's a lot of work. Are your parents prepared for the amount of work it takes?
I think so. I think because I have 5 siblings, and we've all really been involved in a lot. And so I feel like it's a piece of cake. It's really weird, but
yeah,
it's only the beginning. So
yeah,
I don't want to jinx it, but yeah.
Well, and I think it's important you have a good support system around you. And you also have the Miss Lewis County Board, who is really a good support crew who help you work through all of these issues.
Yes, that's so true. I feel like I have a group of friends that are always going to be there to support me.
Yeah.
Even past the program.
Yeah.
I know they'll be there. So.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And so what about, I guess, what would you tell a young lady who is interested in maybe applying, like you had thought for many years? What would you tell them to do? Like, what would your advice be?
Well, I would definitely say that no matter who you are, what you're involved in, I don't really believe that matters. Just know that there's going to be a million people around you supporting you with the decision that you make.
Yeah.
And ultimately, you're the only one that can make that decision, but you're going to have a great experience no matter what way the cards go. So
yeah. No, I think that's a good one. What about parents? I mean, there might be some parents who are like, oh, don't do it. It's too much. Give some advice on like maybe how your parents work through that process as well.
Well,
because your dad's a busy guy.
Yes, he is.
And your mom
busy.
is too. So
I definitely think there was some fear going into it because we are so busy already, but we also know that we have learned through having so many kids in our family to balance all the things. And so because of that support, they weren't really worried going into it because there's just so much support around us from the board, from the people running and their parents, and just everyone's super positive and supportive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that folks are going to be really surprised and excited to see you starting to come around the county and travel around. Or what's one of your goals as Miss Lewis County? Is it to hit every school? Is it to try to go to as many events as you want? I mean, you have an event tonight. You've got events already started.
Right. I think definitely going to as many events as I can just to live this year up and really just take it all in. I'm super excited for that. But also getting into those elementary schools and educating in all the ways that I know I can. So
yeah. And you won enough scholarship money, right? I mean, you won some good scholarship money as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know how much you think?
I don't know total, but
it was a good amount.
Yeah, a lot. I think enough to pay for almost a full year or a full year of college.
Yeah, which is awesome. I mean, that's partly about what this program is about. It's about, learning all these life skills, building lifelong bonds with new friends, but also it's about education and so you can pursue your career. And I think that there's so many benefits to being part of this program.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. So Katelynn, we're about to wrap up the show. Is there anything you want to say to Lewis County as you sign off? And I this is your first ever public appearance per se.
Right.
This is your first ever radio interview, and I'm going to have you back on at the end of this year, and we talk about how you've grown from your first interview and your whole year. So it's a cool snapshot. So what do you want to say to Lewis County?
Well, I guess I would say that I'm just super excited for this year and all that it has to offer, and also that I'm just super excited to be able to educate on what I'm passionate about and take that all over the county. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you will see Katelynn Guenther at a school or event near you sometime soon. So I want to thank Katelynn for being on the show, the new Miss Lewis County 2024. Very excited to have her out in our community. And I want to thank you for listening to the Let's Talk About It show here on AM 1470 KELA and 104.3 KMNT.